conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and welcome to the January 20th meeting of the Belchertown Select Board. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No public comment here. I don't know if there's any online.
You don't have one?
Nope.
Okay.
Unless there's somebody online.
Is there anybody online that would like to make use of public comment? Okay, I'll close public comment. Are there any documents to sign?
There is a letter of support from Amanda Lewis.
Oh, I think that's going to be later. Okay, there are no additions to the agenda. And so we'll start with appointments. John Ingram, Fire Chief, the presentation of Defibrillator project.
Thank you.
Come on up.
How's everybody?
Good.
Well, how are you?
Good. So for one of my goals was to take a tally of our beaches in town and try to expand it and get some more out there where there might not be some or replace ones that we have. So we've been working on it, and we now have 5 in town. We called Avive. They're a nice, small, compact defibrillator. And the nice thing with these is that they're all GPS, and I can log online and see where they're at and see how much battery life they have, and they'll tell me if the pads are changed or not. They're very easy to use. Our plan is to start with Old Town Hall, DPW, the library.
Wastewater.
Yeah, we'll be working, going down that way for wastewater. And then right now we only have 5, so we'll kind of keep the one in spare, but we'll be working with Kyle. And so initially what kicked this off was Chief Pacunis gave us some money to kick it off. The Fire Association will be donating some money, most likely this month, to help either get some more and support what we have. And then I've been in contact with Ed Camone last year. We were talking about trying to do some fundraisers and things for this type of event. So we'll be working with him as well in the future to keep raising money so we can buy more and get them throughout town. Do about pay 5. I just gotta do some little bit of training with the folks that we're going to be putting them. And I talked with Linda today for the DPW. So yeah, just wanted to come and just do a quick overview, and that they're nice, they're compact. The library's going to be putting up their case very soon on the side door here, so we'll be working with them and get that over there sooner than later.
Fantastic.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Any questions?
I think it's great.
Remind me, are there training opportunities for us, for the town?
Yeah, so whoever would, we'll be starting to, we're getting some more folks trained in the CPR side of it in-house, and then we'll be going out and doing town staff or whoever wants to do it, just so people, if they had to use it, they can obviously know how to do it. But it's all, as soon as you hit the button, it walks you right to it, talks you through everything, shows you where to put the pads. When you are done with it, when the paramedics show up, they can, there's a QR code that shows up on the screen, so they can use their phone, use the QR code, and it will download all the rhythms of things that this machine saw to their phone, so they can get to the hospital. They can let them know what's happening before they got there.
So these are designed for just a person to walk off the street.
Yeah, these are for this is for general public use. And then the ones we use in the department are obviously a lot more. Have a lot more things with them, but we had UMass uses these, and that's how we heard about them. Kind of with their partnership, and they've had really good luck with them, and the response from the company with our sales rep has been very good with them. So.
And if I read your report correctly, they're already at the schools?
Yep. So eventually that's a kind of a bigger project, but we'll be working with them as they kind of edge out, they could become, end of life for them. We'll be talking with them and try to switch over everything to these so they can be seen to the online and see what the status is with them all.
That was the other question is, what is the life of these? How often do they need to be replaced?
Probably 10 years, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they may go longer than that, but I would say 10 years is probably a good average for them.
This is great. This
Yeah,
helps
no.
keep our town safe.
Yep, well, and we'll have one here downstairs probably as you come in, there'll be one. I'll talk with Max and some other folks who are the things they really want to put it, but
What do you need from us tonight?
nothing, I just wanted to bring it and say that the project is here and we've got 5 in the department, so we'll be putting it out there, so.
That's
Well, you give
excellent.
them
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Anything
Very well.
else? That's great. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming in.
absolutely. I'll stay for Kyle's part.
Okay, there's questions.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, and so I think Kyle is up next. And he's going to be talking about fireworks.
Sure, yeah. So I'm here just to kind of get your thoughts on bringing back the fireworks display around the town fair time. Obviously, years ago, the fair committee used to run fireworks prior to the fair weekends. When I took over as rec director, that's something that my department was looking to maybe try to do. Obviously, COVID hit, and then some of the finagling of what we'd be able to do with sponsorships, things like that, were kind of hurdles. They are now no longer hurdles. We have avenues to get some sponsorships through the different businesses in town and avenues to work with different groups that would benefit the community. So what I submitted was just kind of a draft request for quotes that I used from local communities, South Hadley being one that has done fireworks the past couple of years within their community on 4th of July. John came to the office, just said, hey, we're looking to maybe see how things were going. There's talk about fireworks. And I said, I'd be happy to have my department kind of take the lead as far as orchestrate meetings, talk with this board, fire chief, police chief, see what the different avenues may be for them. Questions, the logistics of everything at the school, work with whatever company we may go with and see what needs to be done from even, the state fire marshal's position and work with the group to kind of get these back off the ground and hopefully do them the Thursday night prior to the fair weekend. Would be the goal. So something to present to you. And once again, some of the things I highlighted were just, some of the proposals had it as like a 3-year-long contract with a certain organization to keep the price the same for 3 years. Some of this is based off of, sponsorships, donations. If they, for instance, South Hadley, if they didn't hit that sponsorship number or donation number, they wouldn't run them, and there was no penalty for not running them that year with that company that they used, if you will. So there was some logistical things within the contracts that kind of made sense to me, but once again, we don't have to do a 3-year, it could be yearly. It could be looking to see what company may give us the best show for the amount of money that they're looking for. I have reached out to a couple of the companies just to get some feedback on approximately how long a 20-minute show is compared to a 30-minute show. What does it entail? I know some of the details in here are the size of the shells specifically to the fireworks and what the state fire marshal and the chief are comfortable with. The nice thing is obviously we try to utilize the Chestnut Hill area. So that back multi-purpose field is already fenced in around where the softball field is. So that would give us a good perimeter, if you will, for safety purposes. Obviously, there'd be follow-up meetings with a group to figure out, like I said, the logistics of parking, where we're going to put certain people, where we have specifics, and try to make it a community event to kick off the night. I know we were throwing around ideas like, having some food trucks there, having some different activities for the kids through the daytime until it was late enough to actually do the fireworks. Obviously, it's going to be a busy time for some of the groups that we would like to be there because the fair starting Friday, they're setting up, getting everything orchestrated. But I think that this could be something that the community would enjoy and something to bring back.
I just want the chief on record saying you support it.
Yeah.
That's all, so.
I was gonna ask, so
Sorry,
both
Chief.
both fire and safety are on board?
Yeah, and once again, after this, we probably schedule a meeting to really go through the details of what it would look like, what some concerns of theirs may be, and what we would need to really iron out and come up with a formalized kind of proposal of a plan for that evening.
Right.
And then once again, finalize a draft letter depending on the bid process and what we're looking at. Just from the few conversations that I have had with some of the companies, for like a 20 to 22-minute show, you're probably looking around $15,000 to $20,000 is kind of within that ballpark, as a rough estimate, depending on how long we want the show and some other details that we could work out. But I just want to kind of get a feel for how things may have changed and what the price.
But if you bundle them together, do we get a lower price?
So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. And some of that is time-wise. One of the gentlemen I spoke with on the phone just said you can kind of use the $1,000 per minute time frame for a decent show that people usually like. You kind of dovetail it how you want to. Obviously, the bigger, longer effects of certain fireworks are a little more expensive, but some say, you know, closer to 15, no problem, 20, no problem for about, like I said, a 20 to like 25-minute at most show, depending on what you have. You can do more too. You can link music. There's different avenues to tie in. So that would be some of the details that we discuss, you know, with a working group on just what we're ultimately looking for and then choosing the best company that would fit our needs or our wants for our community and our show.
So I had the fire marshal, state fire marshal, both compliance officers up here last week, and we drove by the site, you know, where they used to do it at Chestnut, and again, that's still a good spot. Again, like I said, the size of the shell, there'd be just a limitation on that, just because of the travel and stuff, the degree of things. But from that side of it, I'm good with it and good with him, so we'll work with the state.
And that's-
It actually gives the license out and they come up and do the design with all of us.
I like that. And the location is locked in?
That's what we've used in the past. To me, that makes the most sense just from logistics of parking and the ability to park people up at Chestnut area, Swift River, working with the schools, obviously, and then even across the way, if people need to park at the senior center and walk across, that's an avenue as well that we could work on and look at that. Because that to me is one of the bigger pieces is obviously the parking. If people want to get there, where do you park them? And find that avenue to make it as easy as possible. And, you know, from a safety standpoint, working with the, you know, police chief, Kevin, to see if and how many officers we need just to help orchestrate people crossing the street at certain times and as that event comes. So those are all the details that would be worked out as we move forward.
Do you need anything from us tonight?
Just basically approve or support that you're, you know, on board with us going
I think
forward
it's
with this. and do
fantastic.
that, so.
I mean, it's always bothered me that we don't have fireworks here, you know?
So I guess just for clarification, so remind me again, because I don't know the long history. Has this ever taken place during the 4th of July or only around the fair?
So that was prior to me as well. So
It's never been 4th of July. It was always fair. The reason behind 4th of July is the price is like doubles around 4th of July, and so many other communities do it. So you're fighting Amherst, South Hadley, Northampton, which Northampton's not doing it now.
I don't
So-
think South Hadley is doing this year either.
East Hampton.
So that's a really good point that, you know, all these communities are taking a step back. Belchertown is taking steps forward for the community and for our
Love
residents to try to make things much better here.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kyle, Chief.
Is there any concern about being a Thursday night since it's a school night?
So it used to be the kickoff of fair weekends type thing. So once again, that could be a discussion on that. The one thing I know we probably don't want to do is try to coincide on like a Friday night with everything happening at the fair.
Yeah.
And that, so to me, Thursday night would make most sense if we're going to try to keep it around that fair weekend, to really make it like that Belchertown community feel for fair weekend to kick it off. In the future, if that shifts, like you said, because we're not getting as much as 4th of July, or if there's a change in wants or needs, I'm sure we could shift gears at that point. But I think the Thursday night was what we were kind of looking for, because that's what I hear everybody talk about, and that's what they remember, kicking off fireworks, and then that started the weekend for everybody.
We're usually home by like 9 o'clock-ish, just give you
You
an
go to school the
idea.
next day.
Yeah, it's later in the year, so we can start.
Yeah.
And then you said that you think this will cost the town nothing? That it will-
So what we would do is look for some sponsorships, some donations. I know, talking with John and some people are already willing to donate. To what extent, we don't know yet, because we didn't know if we were definitely going forward with it. Once we have more details, that will help dovetail how much certain groups are willing to give. Obviously, if we get more, then we can keep that in account to use for further years or anything else that may come up. And once again, some details that we may have to pay for, or how to make it, doable, that it's not gonna cost the town anything on the town side of things. That route.
Nice. Thank you.
Recognition, oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, I did receive an email earlier from our select board member, Nicole Miner, who's not
Yes.
here tonight, who's emphatically supporting this. I can read her statement if you would like, but I can tell you that not only is she looking forward, excuse me, to it occurring this year, but in future years as well. Nicole was here in Belchertown when we had fireworks before, so she still remembers that. And, in honor of the 250th anniversary, she would be very proud to see Belchertown host fireworks. So I could read her statement or
No,
tell you
that's
that she's
good.
very pleased that we're even talking about this tonight. So,
Recognition is going to be important in terms of securing sponsorships.
Yep.
So I'm sure you're working on that.
Yep, there's avenues within the Chestnut Hill area, especially if that's the main parking area, with banners and spots that we've, have in mind for that, and certain things throughout, even, our rec website, that there's opportunities to put certain things within the website and on the websites and the different social media.
This was just to put that out there.
Yes.
Thank you. This sounds
Anything
exciting.
else specifically you're looking for or would like to see? Just-
Can we light them?
What's that?
No.
I'm not licensed firework.
But this is nothing we need to vote on.
No, I think it's just getting your support, and the next steps is I'll
Let the
reach out and
community
set
know.
up a meeting with the respective
Yeah.
parties and sit down and have a discussion on what we need and how to piece it together. I'll obviously keep Steve informed, and I'm sure John wants to be involved with it.
Well, I was just going to say, I think
Yeah.
Sean was a little bit involved in this as
Because
well.
they have a little
so
bit more
kudos to
knowledge of how it used to go and what it entailed in that regard. So what worked well, what we can kind of build on and see what we can do. But once again, knowing some of the focus by some of the groups that may want to be involved are focused on the fair weekend, getting that set up. So just looking at what we can provide with that time frame too is a big piece of that puzzle.
Thank you.
very good.
Thank you.
Have we heard anything?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know if he's online or,
I don't think Vinny made it, so I will. I believe he's online. I know he was questionable with some other commitments, so I'm gonna say that he was unable to make it tonight. So I will jump in for Vinny DePonte on behalf of the DEI committee.
okay,
The DEI committee has submitted a request. So that's our diversity, equity, and inclusion task force committee. I should be accurate with that. They've submitted a request to have the select board approve a proclamation for the Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is occurring on January 27th this year. And they are also requesting that the select board approve the raising of a flag in remembrance of Holocaust Remembrance Day. There's a photo of the flag on your table in front of you. Okay, you have it.
Yeah.
And again, that's on page, starts on page 11 in your packet. In the event, it sounds like it's going to be very simple and respectful on the 22nd. And this is a first for them. So I also received a statement from Nicole about this. I will read this because I think this is a very important matter. It says, although I am not present tonight and able to vote on this matter, I would like my fellow board members and the community to know that I fully support a meaningful request of the DEI Task Force to proclaim January 27th as International Holocaust Remembrance Day and to raise the Holocaust Remembrance flag. Thank you to the DEI Task Force for the important reminder of the lives lost during the Holocaust and to your commitment to remembrance, education, and staying anti-Semitism. Very well written, and I echo those same sentiments.
Any discussion on this?
It's great.
I agree.
Do we want to take a vote? Do we split it in two, Steve, or can we do both of them together?
Oh, you can do them both together.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I can do it. So I move that the select board proclaims January 27th as International Holocaust Remembrance Day and raises the flag at Town Hall on the 27th of January at 1:00 p.m.
Sign the proclamation.
And sign a proclamation too, since it's 3 parts.
I second it.
All in favor?
That's fine. Aye.
Aye.
I'm supposed to read the proclamation, or they're reading the proclamation.
Do we need to read the whole
The
proclamation?
flag raising.
Yeah, you should.
Read it now.
Go ahead.
You want me to read it?
I can. If you-
We're both fighting the same.
I know, we'll have a little laryngitis. Sure, so I'll read the whole thing.
When you give up, send it to Lisa. When she gives up, she sends it over to me. We'll get through it.
Belchertown Select Board Proclamation International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Whereas International Holocaust Remembrance Day is observed to honor the memory of the 6 million Jewish people and millions of other innocent victims who were systemically murdered by the Nazi regime and its collaborators during the Holocaust. And whereas presidents of the United States have consistently affirmed the importance of remembering the Holocaust, honoring the survivors, and reaffirming the responsibility of all people to confront hatred, anti-Semitism, racism, and intolerance in all of its forms. And whereas remembering the Holocaust serves as a solemn reminder of the consequences of indifference, silence, and the erosion of human rights, and underscores the need to uphold the dignity and worth of every individual. And whereas the town of Belchertown is committed to promoting education, reflection, and understanding so the lessons of the Holocaust are never forgotten and such atrocities are never repeated. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on this, the 27th day of January, 2026, Belchertown Select Board hereby proclaims International Holocaust Remembrance Day and encourages all residents to pause in remembrance, honor the victims and survivors, and recommit themselves to combating hatred and standing up for justice, equality, and human dignity for all.
Mm.
That's a very nice proclamation. I'm glad we read it.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm really glad they're doing this. So next up,
Yeah, discussion action items. So we have 2 letters of support in front of you tonight for inclusion in the Mass Trails grant application that are going to be submitted at the beginning of March. We have 2 projects in mind this year that we would like to see advance. One is the Mass Central Rail Trail Segment 1C. I think. It's basically a section from Georgetown, Aspen Field to Maple Street by boat specialists. We're going to be requesting in the neighborhood of $300,000 for design work to advance that project. The design is necessary to access federal funding. That's the road we've been taking. So that project's been paused for the last 2 years while we were waiting for some additional grant opportunities to come up to fund further design. So that project is one of the letters. The other letter is for the Foley Field trail system that we currently have, which includes the Century Trail. There's 2 segments that we would like to complete. So this is construction, design, permitting, everything together. at a cost of about $140,000. And what we're trying to do is connect Foley Field side over by where the old communications tower used to be. We're trying to connect that to Berkshire Ave. And we're also trying to connect the overlook in the bluff area to Jackson Street. If we do that, then we'll have about a 2-mile loop.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to walk from Jackson Street all the way down through Berkshire Ave, up through Foley Field and back around to Jackson Street or vice versa. So that'll be a very nice connection, and that basically finishes the project as we've envisioned it, unless somebody comes up with another segment. But so we're hoping that we can get that grant and wrap that project up as well. There's a tremendous draw there. A lot of people are there for birding and sightseeing, exercise, and dog walking. So that's a huge priority for me as well. So we're asking the select board to sign letters of endorsement tonight so we can get their applications in and hope for the best.
Okay. Do we need to vote on
Sure.
it? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we sign both letters of endorsement for the Mass Trails application. One letter to support the central 1-mile segment of Mass Trail. Do we read the whole letter?
No.
And the other one to support the Lake Wallace Century Trail of Jackson Street connector.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. That's great.
Okay. 6B, update on goals and objectives. So this is a quarterly update. We did get a little bit of a late start, so this is our first quarterly update,
Yeah.
even though we're technically in the third quarter of the fiscal year. And there is a report in your packet beginning on page 17. Not only is it included an executive snapshot, but the entire list of goals and objectives is also there. So it comes from page 17 to page 33. This is the first quarterly report, so I don't really have a good format on how I'm going to present this tonight, but I did work with the chair. Lisa was instrumental in getting the format for the quarterly report together with me. It was a big help to be able to have a document to work from, so I appreciate that. And we were able to put a pretty good summary together. And I think going forward, that's unless there's some comments from the board, it's probably the same format we're going to use. So I could run through that pretty quickly, but basically every goal has a section and we talk about progress in it. Overall, I think we're on track. There's been a lot of outside influence this year. For example, health insurance, negotiations with unions, a lot of things that come up that have kind of set us back a little bit, but I still believe that we are on track for a very successful year. So let me just get over there. So the executive snapshot starts on page 17 with the first section. The second section of the report is breaking down each goal, starting with goal 1, which is advancing economic development. We think that's on track. We've completed a few items. A lot are ongoing, as you'll see. A few that need discussion that I think we could focus on a little bit, and there's still some that haven't been started. I don't know, there's 26 items. I don't know if we want to go over every one of them or just talk about the ones that need discussion, and if you have other questions. We can do that.
Well, this is for the folks at home. I think that executive snapshot's really important to go over what the key accomplishments were and what the overall executive summary is, and then talk about what the key risks and challenges are, so that will set you up for each one of the goals.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. So some of the key accomplishments that we highlighted are pathfinder release, infrastructure work at Sports Haven, hiring a grant manager, addressing the health insurance deficit, the signing of the memorandum of understanding the mass development and the chancellor's visit. Some of the challenges that we know we're going to be dealing with going forward, the FY27 budget process is looking to be grim. Sports Haven, next week, as a matter of fact, we have an election of board of directors. So there's going to be a change in internal management, and we're still in the middle of a major $4.5 million project. And we still need additional funding to get to that milestone. We're about $1.5 million short right now. And hopefully, if we can get to the end of that project, the Tenants Association can assume full ownership of it.
So we're still looking for $1.5 million?
Yeah.
And,
Maybe applying for some additional grants.
okay,
We're still looking for a conservation administrator. We're working with 3 unions, or we'll be shortly working with 3 unions on collective bargaining. And we are still trying to address health insurance for the future for our employees and retirees. Where do you want to go from here?
just read out the executive summary. It's good. So it shows what you've done.
So the town does remain on track this quarter. There's been notable progress across economic development, public safety, communications, human resources, fiscal planning, and infrastructure. The accomplishments are the same as I read earlier. We've been very successful securing competitive grants. We have money to support zoning review. That one grant encompassed about 3 or 4 different items on our goals and objectives. So that was huge for us. We had a marketing grant. We had a grant for ADA compliance in our buildings. We've received a complete streets grant, and we've also been advancing many capital projects such as the fire department facilities, the town beach improvements, our recreational fields. We've been working on public safety planning milestones, communications, and accessibility initiatives, and the implementation of the DLS recommendations. Looking ahead, the town faces several management challenges that will require our attention. This absolutely includes the FY27 budget, collective bargaining, health insurance, as I stated earlier, recruitment of not only a conservation administrator, but our director of assessments has announced his retirement as well. So we are beginning that process. We still have to deal with Sports Haven. I am starting to dig in a little bit on the surplus property. We do have an inventory of parcels that we feel we could sell. So we're time allots. We're going to be trying to position some maybe some questions for town meeting, so we can digest those properties. Well, that's a priority. It's taken, a back burner to other priorities. And we're still working on communications such as AI use, code of conduct. For staffing, financial outlook is in watch. Staffing levels are stable. Our financial outlook is categorized as watch status. Budget numbers are refined almost daily now. This week, we should have the governor's numbers for budgets.
Are they late?
No, it's always coincides with the same weekend as the MMA.
Okay.
In Boston. So it's usually a day or 2 in advance. We should have them any time now.
Okay.
We do have our projected growth through taxation. We don't have our estimates yet on new growth, which is outside of the Prop 2.5 limitations. We have our estimates for other revenue sources, permits and fees and stuff. So we're starting to narrow in on the final numbers. We have all of the budgets in place right now, so we know roughly where we're at for needs. We're close to what we have for available funds. I do not have the school's budget yet, so we're still waiting on that.
Oh,
But we, okay, so we'll probably have it after that.
so when is the school budget coming in?
Today, right, isn't it? The inter-school committee thing?
I don't think there's one tonight, is there? They said the next, Brian said he's gonna present next time they have a school committee meeting. Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So anyways, the organization is positioned to maintain momentum by prioritizing high impact initiatives, leveraging grant and consultant resources, aligning policy decisions with long-term fiscal sustainability. So I think that's very important.
Yeah.
We're in very good shape.
So then we have the 6 goals. I mean, that's pretty impressive, Steve. If we just stop and say that's really impressive. With the 6 goals, it was my thought that rather than go through each one, if Steve has indicated that some of them need discussion. And we could talk about, we could just go to what needs discussion. And, but if something, if there's one that is outside of that anyone wants to talk about, that we could bring it up. But could we agree to just talk about what he'd like to discuss? Is that okay with you?
So in advancing economic development.
Yeah.
We have a couple of things that I just wanted some clarification on. One is item number 6, which is exploring recruitment of franchises for other recreational facilities. I know we've been in conversation with the local Boys and Girls Club. Question I had there is, what do we mean by or other?
Well, I think, with the survey that came back, there were a lot of people that really wanted all ages. And so maybe looking at a Y or other similar kinds of facilities, but the Y jumps immediately to mind.
So I think where I'm a little bit thrown off is with the word franchises in there, so we're focusing mainly on those type of businesses, or are we thinking private business?
I mean, I think so.
I mean, I guess like we have had conversations with the Boys and Girls Club and the Y, and they're just gonna throw it back to the community. They don't have resources to do anything.
I haven't heard a single thing about the Y. I've heard a lot about the Boys and Girls Club, but I haven't heard anything about the Y.
Yeah, I mean, we did meet with them last year.
I think we had less interest
Yeah,
there than we did with
Yeah.
energy, and that's why we.
I think we should still reach out to the Y. And also get from them, maybe where else we could reach out to if they don't think it's a right fit, what might be a right fit.
Maybe just a follow up at this point.
Yeah.
And then item number 15, which is implementing a cross-departmental pre-application review. So when we have a major development come in, it's been a long time since we've had one, but this has been past practice.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was missed during our initial conversations, but I know, years back when Stop and Shop came to town, we had a lot of meetings with the developer before they presented to the planning board or the conservation commission. So a lot of those things were, worked out. We did a little bit of that with the Breeza development on the state school campus. So I guess my question is, was the board aware of that, or are you looking for something different? Or was that what you were looking for? You just want to make sure that when developers come in, that we're here for them, we're not just ignoring them.
Anybody, I can say something. I think this came out of the 30-page questionnaire that EDIC was using. And, you know, I think EDIC is reviewing that now. So I'm not sure that that needs to be here. On the other hand, if we are marketing any properties outside of the EDIC, do we echo the same pre-application? Do we create our own? This might be one that, you know, isn't going to be completed this year, because it'd be nice if we had a sort of a seamless, regardless of the property, it's the same kind of,
Yeah,
so,
but if I put it on like a watch status for now, so
yeah,
you can kind of see what's happening. 'Cause right now, we don't have anything from us anyway.
all right.
So I can
Does
do
that make sense, though? That's,
Yeah.
I think that's what that came from.
I'll put that on a watch status and.
All right,
you know,
yeah,
We'll see what happens with the EDIC, and then
yeah.
we'll have another quarterly update in April.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it. See what we're doing then.
I think the thought was not to make it so arduous.
Yeah, yeah. And then 17 and 18, which are both related to affordable housing. I think they're redundant in a certain sense. You know, building relationships and partnerships, you know, housing a roundtable or hosting a housing roundtable. They kind of go hand in hand.
I
But,
agree.
And again, this might go back to the EDIC a little bit, but I wasn't clear on what the goal is. This to try to, what's the ultimate goal of this one?
Well, the ultimate goal, in my eyes, was for you to have relationships with people in that environment. And I agree. I think that it's redundant. And honestly, I don't know if a housing roundtable is really what's the best thing. It was more to get you comfortable with meeting and knowing the folks, and then knowing you.
That helps a little bit.
Does that help you?
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that before I move into? I don't think there was too many other needs discussions. Goal 2, I think, is public health and safety. You had an update tonight from the chief on the defibrillators. I think this is on track as well.
What goal are we on?
Goal 2.
Okay, I have one, 23.
Oh, okay.
The established subcommittees focus on trail, land management, and habitat management. I'm wondering if we want to modify this goal. There is an overall volunteer summit that's coming up, before we create this. I'm just wondering if this is on a watch as well.
Yeah, this has come up a couple of times very recently, today, as a matter of fact, forming a trail committee. And I think there's going to be more conversation on that.
So I don't know how everybody else feels. I don't know what this volunteer summit is either.
We
Can-
can talk about this summit.
Well, I mean, can you,
It doesn't have to do specifically with volunteers. It has more to do with economic, it's community.
A little bit of
Sorry,
everything.
it's a little bit of everything, but
well,
to zoom out, it's, what is the economic drivers for Belchertown? And it has to be tourism, outdoor recreation, arts and culture, all of it. Right. So it touches almost every department,
okay.
except for public. I mean,
Well, one of the big concerns that I have, and this has been coming out in various platforms, but Jen has been very vocal about this as well, that committees are not necessarily networking and collaborating on projects.
Right.
So part of this summit is to make introductions, to talk about projects that they are working on so that there can be some cross-committee support. We're also looking at where we can combine committees or reduce the number of committees, or maybe have subcommittees rather than full-blown committees. So these are all things that I think are going to be part of this summit, as well as trying to figure out ways to attract more people to volunteer.
Well, could I make 2 suggestions? The first is, could we see something in writing that says this is what this thing is? Because I've been asked about this and I've said, I have no idea.
Well,
And then the second thing is, it feels like this is pretty big. I'm wondering if we should have 2 people from the select board working on it together.
we
Yeah,
do.
I'm helping a little. I wasn't able to attend the meeting they had today.
Yeah.
Well-
Well, we didn't have one today. It happens tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow, sorry. I can't attend tomorrow.
I will explain the summit. I don't want to interrupt Steve's flow. I will also
Oh, we don't
say,
have to do it now. I'm just saying,
Yeah, and-
we need something in
Yeah, I
writing to
mean-
know what we're doing
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Can we put it on the goal, can we put it on the next meeting?
Yeah, we can put it on the next meeting, so we don't have to take up any of this, but.
What I wanted to say is that our new grants manager, so she's implemented and identified that we need like a project, like a monthly project meeting. So that was one of the things that we had today, where we talked about through every project from the departments that were in the room, and we realized we were missing departments today. But like, she's keeping a comprehensive list of like all of the things and all of the priorities. for
I'm
all-
literally saying, let's not talk about it now, because we are. in the
No,
middle of
I'm
this,
just giving as
But
part
maybe
of
we can
this.
have.
But this is separate from the summit. This is like Dawn is doing this, like this is completely separate, but it has to do with this point here, 23.
So I think that what was not started when I prepared this, I think we've got to start.
Yeah.
But we're in a different order. So.
But I think that should be maybe part of this whole thing, and I'll put the summit on for the next select board meeting, and
The summit will have started. I will just say the summit will have already started. So I need to talk about it tonight.
When is the summit?
Well, the first part is next Thursday. It's 29.
So I think, like Lisa said, because other select board are invited or going. right?
Everybody can come.
Yeah, so it's not like
It's not,
it's open in a sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can go, you just can't deliberate or make decisions or anything, talk amongst yourselves. But you can all go. Yes, we did confirm.
So everybody can go.
But I don't know what it is.
I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, so let's table that and we'll add that afterwards. John, you want to work on this with Jen?
I think, well, Whitney said she
And-
didn't have.
Are you working on it as
I
well?
am. I can't make the meeting tomorrow, but I attended 2 meetings so far. And I will be there on the 29th. But I mean, we can all participate. We just can't.
Okay,
Totally.
I don't need to.
Deliberate,
I
thank
just
you.
want to make sure that there's more than one person working on
Yeah,
this.
yeah, of course.
Okay,
Seems like a lot of work's going into it. I just said that a lot of work has gone into it, so it's a good sign. It's-
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
working on it
absolutely.
and positive about it.
okay.
Okay.
Anything else on economic development for the moment?
Nope.
Great. Public safety, so again, the chief was in here talking about AEDs today. I think we're on track. We've completed 2 items out of 10. We have 8 that are ongoing, so there's nothing on hold or pending, or nothing that needs discussion, so
That's great.
you know, let me back up just for
It's excellent.
the people that had, let me back up quickly to economic development. We've completed 3 out of 26. We have 15 out of 26 ongoing.
Yeah.
We had 4 out of 26 that needed discussion, which we started, and we got 4 out of 26 that we had not started.
I just thought we could just stick with what needs discussion.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to mean anything unless people look at this.
Same with improving communication and technology. We have 7 out of 7 ongoing. nothing really to talk about there. I will say under that category, just for the sake of a quick conversation, that we do have a lot of external guidance that's necessary, in particular with the policy for AI usage. We've been working with UMass on that, and when I say we, the communications committee, the IT director, human resources, everybody's been part of that, and we've also been working with council to review policies. So we're moving forward there. Technology is also very dependent upon funding. This was the first year that the IT and BCTV both submitted capital improvement requests for funding. Our capital planning document specifies about an 8% investment annually in technology.
And isn't that what we're supposed to do? Isn't that
That was a recommendation.
Yeah. Which is great.
So, hopefully we're gonna start seeing some, new equipment and things like that. Moving on to goal 4, which is strengthening human resources.
So you have number 7 that needs discussion?
So we've completed 1 out of 12, we have 7 out of 12 ongoing, 1 for discussion. We're not started. What are we going to discuss? Cost benefit analysis for the Quabbin Health District. There were some questions on that. The Quabbin Health District is currently receiving $324,000 from the State Public Health Excellent Grant Program. If we were to pull out of the Quabbin Health District, we would lose that money. So from a 10,000 foot level, I don't think we could afford
To pull out.
So before I have HR and our health agent dig into this, from the surface, it looks like a non-starter. I'd be happy to have them continue to move through this. But in light of the fact that our HR department is dealing with health insurance and a bunch of other
Right.
things,
Yeah.
either let's put it on hold or just take it off the list and say, let's not go any further. It's up to you.
How's everyone feel?
I remember who wanted this, so I don't have any.
It was something Nicole brought up.
Yeah, something Nicole brought up.
And I think you're just proving that we need it in a sense, like it needs to stay where it's at with the 320,000, is that or whatever? That's a huge 25,000.
We have,
We don't have that in the budget. I'm just saying, like, if you think outside, I mean, I don't know what else they do besides, I mean, that would be another concept. What is that 324,000 funding would be fine.
yeah, that, some of that money is used for the public health nurse. We also use it for a certified Title V inspector and other expenses. The model right now, the state is really pushing towards regionalization of health districts, and I don't have all the numbers with me tonight. If you want to discuss this at the next update, we can. I can bring that information, but right now, it seems like communities across the state are regionalizing, at least going in the other direction, even large communities. That's been the trend. So, when we looked at this, we said, it's a lot of effort for something that we already feel we know the answer to. I know Nicole's not here, so whatever the board decides tonight.
What do we decide?
Take it off.
Take it off?
Take it off.
Okay, yeah, let's take it off.
Goal 5 is long-term fiscal sustainability. We have been continuing to pay close attention to the PLF recommendations. We're on track. We've completed 1 out of 5 items. We have 2 out of 5 ongoing, and we have 2 out of 5 paused. There's nothing for discussion, but let me just bring to your attention what was paused. If you have any questions.
The one thing I wanted to ask about was identifying funding for the deputy fire chief. I know it's ongoing. What does that mean?
Well, so we have, even part of the DLS recommendations, there's positions that are recommended. There's been internal conversations about positions. Joanne and I have been trying to develop a menu of different positions and what that cost would be. Hoping that with every budget cycle, we could see if something would fit and maybe start at the top and we work our way down to what fits in. And, right now we have, and without going into great detail, we've talked about a finance director, we've talked about chief of staff, we've talked about economic planning, talked about deputy fire chief, second lieutenant position at the police department. So we have, ideas on what these things would cost the town.
And also extending hours for grants and
Right.
communications.
Exactly. So with this budget cycle coming in, and mind you, this document's a few weeks old, we're hopeful that something will fit in. And that's where looking at the deputy fire chief position will fall in. Based on the numbers that we seem to be working with right now, I'm concerned that we're going to be able to fund any of these higher level positions. So I think we're going to have more conversations about that for the budget meetings. But when I say it's ongoing, it's still something that we're considering. We're also looking for other creative ways to change up the management structure within the department. And we've also received quotes for a management study to look at the overall operations and what improvements would be made. We're just waiting for some grant money to surface for that. A lot of these HR grant studies that we've completed were funded through the state community compact program. And this year that program is not funded for FY 26.
Okay.
So I've been advocating with our legislators to refund it in FY 27 so that we can re-engage with some of these HR things. So it's ongoing, but there hasn't been a lot of progress. We have an approved job description and a salary range. That's as far as we've got.
Thank you.
I wish I had better news there. Goal 5, again, is long-term fiscal sustainability, so that was item number 3. So 4 and 5 were both action items that related to health insurance. And, that's part of a much bigger conversation.
Yeah. So that feels like a watch,
That's a watch.
don't you think?
Yeah, so we know where we're heading.
Right, certainly.
And then goal 6 is addressing town buildings and infrastructure. We have all 9 ongoing. Risks and barriers, I think that's important again. We have project sequencing, which is weather permitting, funding cycles, capital improvement. So sometimes we say it's ongoing, but maybe ongoing means we're soliciting funding from CIP.
Yeah.
And again, there's a common theme of needing more interdepartmental coordination. That's something that I'm going to be personally working on over the next 6 months.
So is there a target date for move-in ready for the living quarters
Yeah, I think by spring.
this spring?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of
This is for the fire department, I should say.
one of the final steps is the flooring and the ceilings. The ceilings have been on hold because we're waiting for sun tubes to be installed. The installation of sun tubes developed into a greater project, which the sun tubes bring in ambient light, so they basically collect sunlight and they direct it into a room through like a reflective tube. We had an offer from Window Road to install sun tubes.
Wow.
And we said, sure, that would be a great addition for our firefighters who are staying in those living quarters to have some ambient light during the daytime. And when they looked at the roof, they said, well, you need a roof. So that was probably 6 months ago. And, I'll apologize to the board now. We did not know they were going to come last week to start the roof.
It's on social
Yeah.
media.
No, that's great
If we
news.
had, I would have told you that they were starting, but they did show up last week to start replacing the roof.
And they donated that?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. What a community partner.
So they are, yeah, an excellent partner. And I think that, with the weather, the reason I was surprised is because, you never know what the winter's gonna bring for weather. I thought they were gonna wait till spring, but they tried to squeak it in. I don't know what the status is of how much left they have to do, but, Winter World did donate time and funding to put the roof on as well as the roofs. And I don't want to steal John's thunder, so he can talk a little bit about, Sunday's events. So that's it. That's the snapshot. I think, the department heads are doing unbelievable work, to keep these projects moving. Go ahead.
Number 5, locate land suitable for recreational use. This is great. Could you expound on this? Is there public access? You're talking about looking at the Smith property, which abuts the
Yeah.
Piper Farm property. So it just, is there public access?
Yeah, I believe there will be.
So that has to be built.
Yeah, that G and O, yes, it has to be built. So that action item under goals and objectives, I think the focus there is to replace what is potentially going to be lost on the EDIC land
Right.
by the senior center.
Yeah.
There's 3 soccer fields there that they set up. Kyle was here earlier, we could have asked him, but last year they did some work out at Foley Field to level another area, so that it could be used for a soccer field. So that's 1 out of 3. We have a CPC application in right now with the CPC committee, to fund, some regrading of the area, next to the pickleball courts. That would allow for a second soccer field. I don't know how that application is gonna make out with the CPC committee, because I know that they have limited funding. But we're hopeful if we can get that one built, that would be 2 fields. And the Smith property, was offered to the town last year. We're getting appraisals right now for that land. I forget the total acreage. Regardless, we have a CPC application in to buy that property. And if we can purchase that, it abuts the Piper Farm. The Piper Farm runs between Springfield Road and Maple Street. The upper end of it is dry, the lower end is mostly wetlands and unusable, unbuildable. It has other benefits to the town. There's a walking trail, there's some historical features out there. But the upper end was kind of targeted for recreation, but it's limited in space. If we would purchase the Smith property, we would add to the Piper Farm. And we currently have frontage on 2 different locations on Springfield Road. We have frontage on Maple Street, and the Smith property on South Main Street potentially would have road frontage depending on what kind of deal we negotiate. So that would allow us to have more upland, dry areas that we could use for future recreational areas. And that would really transform the Piper Farm into more of a recreational area where we could have active recreation, we could have other amenities. It's close to town water, town sewer.
Yeah.
There's probably potentially views, it could be used for all kinds of different things, whatever uses we want. So that's ongoing, and I think we've made some progress already to identify those needs. Kyle does have a backup plan if we don't have that second, third field in place. They wouldn't be permanent locations, but he has areas that he could, rather than resting outfields and softball fields, he could utilize those for soccer. But he has a contingency plan, I should say, and we have this long-term plan. If in the event the EDIC moves that property, we have to lose access to it.
I just wanted to ask about that. And I also wanted to just point out, excellent in terms of completing the resurfacing of Town Beach parking lot. That's great.
Yeah, the asphalt should be going down in the spring. So
Fantastic.
That's kind of really, and I want to
just mentioned that project. We've been talking about it for
So
a long
long.
time. But what's important about that, is as part of that project, we're gonna be reconfiguring the fence line. So that the parking lot will be accessible even when the town beach isn't. So people who want to fish from the shore or, throw a canoe out. Right now, they're going around the side where there's a little bit of a trail to go down. They'll actually be able to park there. People want to ice skate in the winter, they'll be able to park in the parking lot.
That's great.
Ice fish, so it's gonna provide better access to the lake for the residents. So it's more than just repaving. Because people will always say, well, why do we need that? It's only open 3 months out of the year. Well, that parking lot will be open year round.
Yeah.
And that will allow for all kinds of different recreational activities on that lake. So that's a good thing.
It's awesome.
I don't know about fireworks.
You were talking about all the departments. I don't want to interrupt that.
So I just want to say, I can't express how proud I am of the people I work with and how hard they've been working to move these initiatives forward, in spite of sometimes an overwhelming workload. They all keep their heads up and keep positive attitudes and keep moving forward. So, any successes that have been outlined here tonight are a direct result of our employees in our department.
Well, what's clear to me is that all of the departments embraced these goals, and each department, depending on their expertise, helped move the goals forward in a way that is tangible. You can see it. And that's kudos to you as our town manager and to everyone that works in town government. Pretty impressive, Steve.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thanks for all the support, over the last 6 months, 3 months, whatever we want to call this up.
Okay. Thank you
So,
again.
The next item on the agenda is health insurance update.
Yep.
It has been a busy few weeks. We did receive our claims history from the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. Joanne has been working with our broker to get an RFP out. I know we spoke about that once before. The RFP should be out this week. We're going to be looking for plan options that include an apples to apples plan design, is what we currently have at the trust. We're also going to be looking for plans that have deductibles and different benefit limits to see where things come in. We should have the RFPs received by the first week of February, and we're hoping to have all the results compiled and ready for discussions by the end of February. If we were to pull out of the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust, we have to notify them April 1st, so it gives us about a month to make a decision.
Is that enough time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, the trust is still a very good program. There's obviously concerns about stability. They've been working with a consultant, HILB. We are starting to see some indication that they're moving in a good direction. So that's still on the table as well. There's nothing saying we're going to pull ourselves out of here. Of the 73 units, I believe 6 have moved to the state GIC. So it was a very low number.
But what, do you know what communities they are?
No, but I know that there's 400. I do know, but I didn't bring that
Okay, that's
information with me. But there's about 400 subscribers out of 12,000.
Okay.
Smaller.
It was a very small percentage. So I think the next milestone for the trust is April 1st deadline to see if other communities,
Defect.
defect as well. And obviously, I don't want to suggest that we've already made decisions. I think it depends on what we receive from quotes. So things are progressing, and that's really the message tonight is that we're finally starting to get to the point where we're gonna have something to work with, which is good. Because we're heading into the budget season, you know, that the trust is going to be looking for, you know, increases this upcoming fiscal year. So I think it's very important that we have a comparison.
Yeah.
So that even if we stay with the trust and we have to endure another increase this fiscal year, we can at least say we've done our homework. We know there was very marginal, if any, savings with GIC. And it would have been a huge impact on plan benefits. So it just really didn't seem to make sense to follow that path.
Okay.
So we're gaining. Joanne's been working incredibly hard on this. Just not only does she attend the insurance advisory committee meetings, but she's also part of the executive committee, so she's double duty on meetings with the trust. It's been a lot of work for her. So I'm sure she's going to be happy when, you know, we get some stability, because I think she's ready to get back to, you know, other matters. So that's all I have on that.
Town managers report?
Even
So, yeah, we signed warrants like we always do. You know, there's over the last month, about $2 million worth of spending. I met with Labor Council. We have an arbitration hearing tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I attended a Mass Trails grant meeting. We've already discussed that tonight. I attended the Massachusetts Downtown Initiative Market Study Update. That's our consultant, right, Jen? I'm trying to remember what that.
What is this?
So we have grant from the state to do marketing,
Oh, okay.
a market study.
which is a market study.
Correct.
A market study on what?
The downtown area of
Oh,
Belchertown
okay.
as defined by various different reports that we've read on.
So this is through the, is this the?
It's the MDI,
MDI.
the Massachusetts Downtown Initiative.
Does this have to, like, the same area that the cultural district is
Yes.
going to be?
Well, it encompasses the cultural district and more. Like it goes all the way up to like the intersection of Route 9, maybe a little bit
I
further.
think we went to like Stop and Shop all the way around the front.
Yeah, it's that whole area. It's part of the wayfinding maps.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, the consultant is just gathering data, and Dawn is mostly doing the work with her. So.
So that, that's a grant equivalency. So we didn't actually get cash. The state awarded the grant equivalency, and it came with a consultant.
Assigned to us. Yeah.
There we go.
So
That's great.
the woman that we're working with is very well seasoned. She's done a lot of projects, and she gathered data on businesses within Belchertown. And her next step is going to be conducting interviews of various business owners, stakeholders, residents, department heads.
That's great.
Things. So that's moving forward. And I would expect in the next couple of months it'll be wrapped up. Let's see here quickly, health insurance meeting, negotiations with the firefighters, EDIC meetings. I did have a meeting with the EDIC chair and vice chair today. Matters at the state school, or Carriage Road area, I should say. I attended the capital improvement planning committee. They corrected me because I always said it's the CIP meeting, but it's actually the CIPC meeting. So I got schooled on that, and they're working through FY27 requests and compiling FY28 through FY31 data as well, so we can start talking about long-term planning and borrowing, which has been void of our budget. Meetings. So they're making good progress. They still have a seat open, but they're doing well. I met with the fire chief regarding ongoing operations. I did attend the finance committee meeting. I met with the Massachusetts Interlocal Insurance Association regarding insurance options. It's another avenue that we may pursue. That's Maya, for those of you who have probably heard it referred to that way. I did attend the DPU public hearing. They discussed the transmission line upgrade project that's going through the Wallace. I think there was 5 residents from Belchertown that were there. They asked some pretty good questions. Dave Haynes was there from the Conservation Commission. So he asked some pretty good questions. And that's a long-term project. It's between now and I think 2035 before it's complete. So it's a huge, huge project. Basically looking to rebuild transmission lines in the Wallace. And some of those areas, that infrastructure is nearly 100 years old. So it's time to do that. I think the biggest concern is environmental impacts. And there was a lot of discussion about that, and there's going to be a lot more discussion about it. But I can tell you, it's not a fast track project. They're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. I did meet with the consultants regarding the pageant feasibility study. They're working on some various options to present to the select board, so we should have something there pretty soon. Been working on FY27 budget. We touched on that a little bit earlier. I did speak to the Director of Assessments, John Wellingham, about his retirement and succession planning. And a meeting with the Sports Aid and Mobile Home Park Board of Directors Friday night. There's another one this Friday. And I did meet with Paul Asma, the Director of Inspection Services, regarding a noise complaint on North Main Street. We think we're very close to a resolution there. We're just waiting for some final results, and it's questionable right now whether the recent testing passed or not. So we've made some.
Thank you, and thank Paul.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of frustration. People have been waiting for a while to get this resolved, but we think we're finally close. And, I'll wait for the rest.
That's great. Thank
That's
you,
all I have.
Steve. That's all?
That's it for today.
Okay, any review of the weekly mail? Board member reports? Whitney?
Sure.
Or do you want me to?
Oh, no, it's okay. Don't make me go after John. I unfortunately missed the January 5th meeting, but I'll just go from there. On January 6th, I attended the CPC meeting virtually. Nothing, I think, really for me to mention about that. I know John was there for some of that, so it's probably his report. I did want to talk a little bit about the school committee meeting on January 13th. Just a couple of points that I thought were interesting is they talked about how they are currently reviewing cell phone policy right now, and they sent it back to their subcommittee, so nothing new there, but they're just talking about the fact that there are schools in other districts that are choosing to use lock boxes or keeping cell phones out. So they're exploring what is their policy going to be. They also talked a good deal about the closure of Cold Spring School and the work they're doing in creating their infrastructure plan. They seem to have a good plan in place.
Good.
So talking about everything from toilet seats to coat hooks, staffing needs, when they're going to give time for the teachers to be able to pack up their classrooms and make the move. So it seems like they're really working hard on that. And then I do believe we're anticipating that their budget is going to be delivered at the next school committee meeting, which if it is next week, I'm unable to attend because I have a work conflict. So hopefully.
Is Nicole going to be there?
Hopefully she's on vacation right now. So we could ask John, you'll probably.
Probably give it his budget, yeah.
Yeah, budget,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Great, thank
Yeah,
you.
and I hate to miss it too because their recordings just aren't as clear. It's hard to hear.
But we'll still have it before the tri-board meeting.
Yeah,
Well, tri-board meetings Monday.
Trevor meetings Monday.
that's a good point. Yeah, so I'm assuming, I'm making a lot of assumptions, sorry, Mr. Cameron, that he will give something to the tri-board and then he'll present at school committee. Yeah.
Okay.
Beyond that, I wanted to share that on January 13th, I had an interesting, my professional life and my town role kind of merged together. I got to go to a mass workforce development meeting that Jake Oliveira held in Springfield, and I was there in my professional capacity working for Mount Holyoke in external relations. But it was just so neat because it was half and half. It was half educators, and then it was half municipal, town leaders or people even from the state that were there. And what I thought was interesting is I sat right across from Chancellor Reyes. And so he spoke right away about how 75% of UMass grads stay in Massachusetts, but almost all of them go to Eastern Mass. And the conversation was really about how do we retain talent here in Western Massachusetts. It was a 1-hour conversation. It could have been a week-long conversation. I hope it is the beginning of many conversations. But we talked a lot about how we're getting the educational training here, but we don't have the infrastructure. So hoping, and I spoke to Jake about it directly, and I said, I really hope this means that the state's going to be putting priorities on building space for companies to come in.
Yeah.
Because we have these amazing educational institutions and then they leave.
Right.
So what are we doing to keep them here? I thought that was really interesting.
Mm.
And beyond that, the Environmental Sustainability Committee sent a really interesting email, and I know Steve, you saw it too. I don't know if it's worth me reading the whole thing, but they wanted to follow up. It did not make it into the packet because they just sent it to us yesterday. But they just gave some quick numbers, which I thought you might find interesting. But they said the Belchertown Community Energy Program collectively saved participants just under $770,000 in 2025.
Wow.
Which is amazing. Versus the National Grid supply, and it works out to about $190 per account for the year. But when you say collectively, I mean, my gosh, it's $750,000 this program saved. And I will say I actually just signed up last week because I got out of my contract with my other people. So I'm excited for that. And he said that participants purchased about 3,000 megawatts of Class 1 renewable energy, which displaced 2 million pounds of carbon dioxide emissions just in our town, which is amazing. And they also wanted to share that the EV charging stations are live, and there is a commemorative event being planned for February 7th.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a little bit out of the loop on that because they know I don't own an EV yet.
Yes. Okay. Are they working on you?
So, yeah, I've had to, hold my head low in shame when I go by the new charging station.
No.
Well, you can't park there anymore, I've noticed.
I know, I lost my parking
Mhm.
space too, so I do have to work on
On your parking space?
that. Exactly.
Are they doing, because this would be great to get out to the community.
Yeah,
Are they
yeah.
working with like the Carriagetown Chronicle?
They've been
Yeah.
working with Kate and.
Working with
I like
Kate,
her.
great. Yeah,
But, that's a very passionate group. And
it really is.
They spent a lot of time working on that project, and I think January 2nd they went live, and there has been people plugged in. When I came in tonight, there was somebody charging.
That's great. And then beyond that, they just wanted to share that they are working on the rooftop lease project. I think they've been working with you a little bit,
Yeah.
Steve, on that.
So that project, they've been working with myself and Linda down at the DPW and Eric will over at the schools, but there's a company, several companies have approached us recently about leasing our rooftops to put solar panels up. So they would basically sign a lease with us, they'd pay us for the space, and they would put panels on the roof. And the economics look promising. At first, I was a little skeptical, thinking I don't want to be bothered with this, it's a waste of my time. But then when I saw the numbers, I realized that they're.
Would they fix the roof too while they're up there?
Well, the economics are probably not good enough for Tadjo, but some of the smaller roofs, yeah, they would.
Okay.
I know, I was thinking, we have a few schools in mind that could use a roof.
And they are working with Eric on these locations.
Fantastic.
They're doing
Thank
good
you.
things.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they're doing great work. Thank you, John and everyone. And that's all I have.
That's a lot. John?
Okay, do you want to know about the summit? Let me tell you all about the summit and how it is shaken out. So it's a two-part project. It's a two-parter. So the first part is happening next Thursday between 6 and 7:30 at the Town Hall Auditorium. So an invitation went out to nearly every committee / department that we felt would be interested in this topic. And so basically the first part of it, and also other community groups that like are not town committees, right? So like Snowmobile Club, Nestle, like Wallace, I mean, the Friends of the Tri-Lakes Association, like
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so it was sent out to all of these folks, McPherson, like all of these ag, conservation, like anything that's an economic development driver for the community. So what we invited them to do next Thursday is to come. We're gonna have an open conversation. We're gonna introduce like who they are, what they do, when they meet, if they have any open seats, what their challenges are, what their major projects are that they're working on, and just to have like a real opportunity for everyone to hear what everyone's doing. And that's the first part of it. And out of that, we're going to collect information from them and create a slide deck to do an open house to the community. And that second part is going to be on March 14th, which is also the date of the Sugar Fest. I'm really sorry to the Shacks. But the good news is that the summit is right now tentatively scheduled for the morning, and the Sugar Fest doesn't start till after it's over. So you can do both.
So on March 14th, it'll be in the morning.
It'll be in the morning. So we have the Town Hall Auditorium for both of these events. And at that event, so at the 29th, so next week, what we're hoping to do is identify a couple of projects that are like highest priorities to present as part of the March 14th. So the March 14th like format will be, we're going to present the slide deck on all of these different community things that are happening and what people are needing, what people are working on, what their biggest challenges are. And then we're going to have breakout sessions on like a couple of these different projects. So we're going to break up whomever comes to that event. We're going to have them all sit down with a bunch of people, and then they're all just going to think about that project. And the hope is that once their wheels are turning, they'll want to continue. So it's like a recruitment tool, but like also like a sharing of information to help, really prioritize. We're trying to rein in all of what people are doing to kind of bring it all together into one space so that we can help craft the vision for the community. Because we have a lot of big ideas, but ultimately, if you zoom way out, again, it's all economic development. It's outdoor recreation, it's cultural and art, it's, food, it's, how do we bring our local ag producers and how do we translate that into like, entrepreneurial activity within our
Are you
community.
looking for synergies and collaborations?
Yeah, we're doing
Okay.
all of that. So that's the basic outline of this whole thing. We've reached out to Mass Creative, and we have one of their folks that are going to come out and help us with some of this stuff. We haven't really fully fleshed everything out for the March 14th piece of it. But the woman that we talked to said she will come out next week. So, and, attend and listen and hear. So it's part of like arts advocacy, but it's like, it's creative economy. It's all of that like put together. Because if you think about it, it's all creative economy that helps, as a driver, because that's how we're gonna make all of this work for Belchertown.
So how does this translate into, do we need as many committees? Do we need that we have a lot of committees?
Yep.
Do we slim them down? Is that part of the goal?
No. That's not part of this goal at this
No, I
point.
thought that's why we decided to do this.
No, this was like, I want to find out who's doing what, how they're doing it, what their challenges are, and a recruitment tool. Like, we have all these committees, and we have people who are constantly approaching different committee, members of the select board, and like, I want to get more engaged and I want to learn about this thing, but then they don't actually hook in.
Right.
Because they don't understand how to hook in.
No, I think it's great. I do think, though, I heard from you and from Whitney that there are too many committees in town.
I mean,
And
that's like
so that might be something
that might
we
be
do.
something else.
It's like a follow-up conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine, just as long as we
Yeah, so
cover that.
if you all can help me, I can send you the list of who we invited. I don't, Abby sent it out through Steve's office.
No, I mean, and send out maybe the the invites that you already sent out to, so that we have you
Yeah,
to.
Yeah,
Okay.
so she sent it out, and so Lisa, our culture district manager, is taking the reservations, the RSVPs.
Yeah,
But what I wanted to say is if you can communicate with your committee liaison people, like, it's an important meeting if they can
Yeah.
send at least one folks from each committee so that we can really have a
Yeah.
robust conversation.
Actually, that's a good point for what Lisa said. We can have the copy, we can forward it back to them.
I mean, I've been looking at it. I can send it to you guys.
No, and remind me, Jen, I should probably know the answer to this. What about people who aren't currently on committees that are just interested? Or we can
So
put anything out on.
We're gonna, so I have a list, and if you all have people that you know would benefit from attending on March 14th, like I have a personal list of folks that I want to invite, but like, I want to invite people. I told John earlier, I'm like, send all your people, because like, that's how we're gonna help fill some of the boards.
Is it gonna go out just to the public in general, in case people just don't know where to
That's what I'm
start?
thinking
getting
too.
involved?
I
Yeah.
mean, do they need a special invite or can they just?
Oh, no, yeah, so
Yeah.
we're working on an invites. So again, this
Yeah.
first part next Thursday is internal. It's like the pre-summit conversation, and then the summit is actually.
What's the
happening
date on next Thursday?
China.
The 29th. Okay.
Yeah.
It's in the auditorium.
What?
Here in the auditorium.
Okay. Anything else you've been working on?
I mean, that's like the big thing. I know that on Saturday, the Ag Commission's having a meet and greet or something. I was on the board, I saw it on there, so I figured I'd mention it.
Okay,
Um,
excellent.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, now John.
I feel like I go up and down a lot. I go to a lot of things. I got a lot of free time. So after the January 5th select board meeting, the fair committee meets the same night that our select board meets. So I'm trying to work with them to get that meeting moved so we can attend it more. But they always meet the first Monday like we do.
Yeah.
But I was able to attend because our select board, our fill-in chair, Nicole, got to the meeting in like 1 hour and 50 minutes, which is good. You guys missed a good time. But I'm trying to get them on GoToMeeting. They're one of our only committees that aren't on GoToMeeting, modernized. So we're trying to modernize the committee and bring them into the town function. So I'm working on that. They have a new theme for this year's coming fair: Stars, Stripes, and Fair Nights to help celebrate the 250th anniversary of America. So that's kind of
Stars, Stripes, and Fair Nights. It's a good one.
Yep. And it was put in by Kate Nadeau. So she was the.
Oh, that's great.
Yep, so giving her the credit. The fair is 25, 26, 27 of September this year. January 6th, I went to Community Preparation Committee meeting. They talked about the high school fields. Whitney was there and Nicole was online too. They give us an update on the high school field, just so everyone's aware of it. If you weren't there, we had the CPC grant of them last year to put the field in, and they're having water issues. So they drilled one well, was producing about 8 gallons a minute. Put another well in, that one's producing about 12 gallons a minute. So we don't have enough water pressure to water the field, to move the project. So why spend all this money on a brand new field if we can't water it?
Yeah.
So we got to figure out the water issue before we can press forward with the high school field. I had to leave the meeting because of conflict of interest, so I don't know what else after that,
Yeah.
but I just want to address that. That was 7th January at a Mass Chill Grant meeting. We talked about that. We prioritized what trails were important for Belchertown, and you're considering with department heads to kind of figure out what grants would be best about that. 7th January, I attended EDIC. The biggest thing I got out of that that's open to the public was Mass Development is doing appraisal of the land, and it's not going to be done until springtime. So there's a lot of talk about that
Wait,
situation.
Really?
They won't do it till springtime. I wanted to bring it up so everyone's
Well, wait,
aware.
so that we're not gonna just bring in our own?
Yep. So Mass Development is waiting until spring to do appraisal of what the land value is.
The
They said
land
that's-
value of what?
The lots, everything, that's
They
their
don't already have
process. Yeah. So it has to be redone.
Oh.
Their meeting is on the
Okay.
21st, it's actually this Wednesday. I would recommend if
Yeah,
you can go
tomorrow.
to log
Yeah, I'm
in.
gonna be there.
So I know you were sick, so I'm just trying to
Yeah.
fill you in all that
Thank you.
stuff. And then there was executive session stuff that they talked about. January communication meeting I went to. They're so on top of the ball. I have to say this committee is just so high energy, ready to go. Year of report's almost done, ready to file so they can get their stuff ready for the town warrant, which is awesome. They talked about possibly changing the town meeting from go-to meeting to something else. So we're looking at maybe different options for that, like a Zoom type meeting versus town. There's a lot of problems with go-to meetings.
Yeah.
So they're gonna pilot something to try to change some of that stuff, look at cost, so we can get back and forth with Kevin and look into that. I think the Carriagetown Chronic said, if you haven't subscribed yet to it or subscribed to it, I would highly go into that. It's over 75% of people that get it are reading it and looking into it, which is
Wow,
like
that's actually
really
really
good
That's so
data.
high.
It's chock full of
So,
information.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Compared to like, if you look at the Sentinel review or anything
Yeah.
like that, like
Yeah.
people are reading the town products and like,
Well, it
spending
just shows
time.
you how much this community really wants to know
Yeah.
what's going on. It's great.
13 Jan, I went to the Board of Assessors. They're looking for a new member. That's where Jay talked about his retirement. They have a plan for that. But their first conflict of interest came up where one member couldn't vote because it involved him. So they couldn't vote on the issue of his tax bill as a veteran, so he can't get the tax credits. And now there's a whole process we have to go because we don't have the seat filled, creating more work for the town, more work for everybody. So we really, really have to get this seat filled because there's only 3 members on there.
Yikes.
And the other member's a veteran too, so it could effectively,
Yeah.
we can talk about that stuff. So I just want to bring that up, and with Jay retiring, the knowledge of that. And the other member's on for reelection, he's thinking about reelecting, but he's not sure yet, so we could be down to 1. So we really have to figure out how to fill this last seat sooner than later. Because Jay's leaving March timeframe.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know why it's been vacant as long as it has. It is a stipend board, it's $1,000 a year. They meet twice a month, on average. Sometimes they meet a little bit more during tax season, but we've had advertisements going out. Technically, it's an elected position, but because it was unfilled during the last election, there's an appointment process to just bring somebody in. But we've had almost no interest.
Which is interesting because there's lots of commentary online.
If that came up, the tax bills came up.
Yeah.
I think if this ever happened again, I think there's a lesson learned from
Yeah.
everybody. I think it's not one person to blame, but there was a lot of questions about the tax bill. I think if we did a better job as a town, maybe enclosed in the tax bill had some kind of letter saying this is why your taxes are so high. So if we have to do this again, so the tax, they were inundated with phone calls.
Yeah.
And it wasn't polite phone calls. People were yelling at them and screaming at them. And they were trying to explain to them what was going on, why you couldn't tax the front half, you had to tax at the tail half. So as a town, I think we failed the communication part. I'm just
Well,
owning that
upfront.
process up
Up
front.
front, but I do think Kate
did
wrote
it.
an article
Yeah.
on it.
But-
I mean, it should have come with.
And I think it's lesson learned that we
Yeah.
can get better from it, and I think we can improve, that's all.
Yes, yeah.
And get ahead of the curve, because social media was way ahead of what
Oh,
we
boy,
put out
yeah.
for the town,
Yeah.
so. It just created a lot of bad blood for the assessor's office that didn't need to happen.
John, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but so people who still don't understand their bill, what is the best way to reach out? Is it to call?
Yep, just call the assessors, they'll go through the whole bill with you, line for line, tell you everything, how your property's assessed, where it got why they're assessing it at this rate, and then maybe it's wrong, and they come out and reassess your house for you. So it could possibly lower it.
We don't have an online portal where people can go and look and see, do we?
Some of the old tax bills are online, back
Or you can look at
back
your
in 1989, I think.
Well, I mean, for like
Up to
now,
1989
maybe
or
the
up to-
future, is there a place where you can go and see, oh, this is what I'm anticipating?
Oh, you can, so because they had the estimates and now they have the actuals, you can sort of just juxtapose that and like map it out for yourself. It's not that, I mean, it's only quarterly, so it's not.
Well, yeah, part of it, people have attempted to do that, and that was one of the shock factors
Yeah.
that created problems, because what people probably don't realize is that every year they get 2 estimated tax bills,
Into actual.
and those 2 estimated tax bills have to almost mirror last year's tax bills.
Right.
So the biggest shock factor is that the entire increase this year is going on 2 quarters, the second half of this year. So people used their bill in January, some people, not everybody, but some people use their January bill and times it by 4
Mhm.
and said, this is twice what they told me my increase would be. Well, yes, because it's not spread out over 4, it's spread out over 2.
Mhm.
So that was one problem. And then the other things people may not have understood fully is that every year our tax levy, our entire town tax levy was up 2.5%. So the override is over and above the normal tax increase.
Right.
This was also a reassessment year,
Right.
which means some people's assessments went way up.
Mhm.
So we had normal taxation growth, we had the override, we had the assessments, and we had those bills coming out in 2 quarters versus 4. So everything looked like it was worse than
Right.
what the reality is. And you have to kind of put all that into place to say this is where tax increase is. So the best bet is to call the assessor's office and they can explain all those different factors.
Well,
Not
I-
everybody's
yeah.
household assessment went up, some went down, some stayed.
But
the
I
same,
think to
some-
John's point, probably putting something
Yeah.
in with
Yeah,
the
that
tax
matter.
We
bill.
should explain why it was such a big increase. I
Yeah.
think it would have helped
That,
people out.
because I'm sure they were inundated with calls.
And at least if people were, we gave the communication early, and it's just a quick little blurb. We could have,
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, if that's the worst thing we ever do as a town, so.
Well-
But I think it was an easy fix.
Yeah.
It's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
It's not like we do an override all the time, so it just,
Yeah.
I think it's communication is the key, is what I'm getting across with everything.
Well
Yeah,
said.
I agree.
13 Jan, I went to school committee, we can talk about it. 14 Jan, I went to capital improvement, CIPCL. Like Steve talked about, the biggest thing I got out of that is that committee is really racking and stacking everything from a high level review. They don't care if it's TPW or schools, they're seeing what's really important to the town. There's a lot of knowledgeable people in that committee, and they're giving us a 10-year forecast, which is great. And I think that we should know, like, the public should know that they're have the best interest of the town at heart and trying to plan what's going to be the best thing for the town. They're asking those difficult questions that people don't want to hear, but they're asking them. Like, how long are we going to be in a building for? Should we do water upgrades to this building if we're not going to be in that building? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
15 Jan, taxation committee met. They have $120 in their account so far for the taxation aid as bills come in, but that's the last. $120 is better than zero, especially with the increase of the tax bill. We got some kind of money to start at least giving taxation out or aid out to people that need it. 18 Jan, we did the food drive at Town Hall. That was put on by State Rep Aaron Saunders, State Senator Jake Oliveira showed State Rep Mindy Combs showed up at Amherst. It's sponsored with Little League helped out, and Window World spotted the truck. Tim Dross showed up and he saved the whole entire time. He's doing great stuff along with a lot for our town, along with a lot of other businesses of our town, kind of support our town. So we live in a great community that businesses are supporting the town in every which way. We filled the truck. On that note, I'd like to get a letter from the select board if we can thank Window World on behalf of the select board in the town for the fire station and for the food drive, if that's possible. And they're gonna try to make it an annual event so we can
Great.
put it on their calendars. I don't know the full data of how much food we raised, but we filled the truck, and so
I wonder if they,
they'll have that.
yeah,
Aaron,
they'll have it.
I
Yeah.
want to say it was around 1,800 pounds.
Yeah, 'cause that would be good to
Yesterday.
have in the letter.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with that. Do you agree?
If you're okay with
Yeah.
that, we could all sign it or something thanking him.
Sure.
He doesn't. I just want to say most of our business people, like Tim and other businesses around town, they do all this stuff for the good grace. They don't want to be recognized. They don't want to come here in front of the select board and say, look at me, look at me. They just do it because they love our community. They grew up here. They've been here for 30-something years. They're invested in the community, and that's what they're to just show the appreciation of the community, giving back to us. So anybody who's living in our community, sponsor local businesses, please. That's my caveat to that.
Well, that said, I do think we should still recognize
Yeah.
them. That's,
Yeah, we should
really-
recognize all of them.
Yeah.
20 Jan, today I went to the Mass Trail grant, we talked about again, grants. And then I worked ongoing issue with not ongoing, but trying to get the fireworks show back in town.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of meetings, a lot of different people trying to get the buy-off and blessing to get this thing going. I'm excited about the fireworks.
Me too. Mine's pretty quick, and I went to the MVP 2.0 meeting. They are working on a two-part presentation for the select board. The first will be to introduce what MVP is and basically the who, what, when, and why. Then they'll come in again to talk about the housing trust for Belchertown specifically. So that's just a heads up that will be coming. I went to the capital planning meeting. You took the words out of my mouth, so I'll leave that with John. I met with the chair and a member of the EDIC. I met with Steve and Brian Gibbons to prepare for the tri-board meeting, and I had COVID. So that was what I was able to do. Okay, do we have any questions from the press? Hearing none, we're going to move into executive session.
I make a, hold on a second. I move we enter into executive session, not to return to open session under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, Subsection 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. International Association of Firefighters, Local 5042, AFL-CIO, collective bargaining agreement negotiations.
This is a roll call.
I second it.
Thanks, John.
Whitney? Aye.
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 Okay. That concludes our meeting.
Lost my cursor. Hold on.